Welcome to Dynamic Thriving Podcast. I am your host, Mary Ann Pack, spiritual guide into all things life transformational. And I want to welcome you to this episode. I have a wonderful guest for us, Lorraine Sanborn. And I am so happy to welcome you, Lorraine.
Thank you, Mary Ann. I'm excited to be here.
I am very glad you're with us. Lorraine is a prosperity mentor and a healthy aging advocate. So we're going to get to talk to Lorraine about all the beautiful things that she does. So let's jump right in and ask Lorraine, who are you and what good do you bring into the world?
Oh my goodness. So if I can share a little bit about my story. So who am I? I'm a mom. I have two children. I have a 55-year-old daughter who has blessed me with two amazing grandchildren. My granddaughter's 25. She's just starting her career path in education and going for her master's in special ed. I'm so proud of her. She's 25. I have a 19-year-old grandson who's finishing up his freshman year at a college in New Hampshire because he loves the outside, and he's been wrestling since he was 5. So they have an amazing wrestling team and a great coach. So a couple of the reasons why he chose that college. And I am a Navy spouse widow. Was married to my husband for over 25 years. We rode motorcycles from the day we got married. We bought motorcycles. We toured all over the US and Canada. And he passed away. It'll be 11 years next month. So that's a little bit about me and my personal life.
Awesome. So our topic today is healthy aging. And you call yourself a prosperity coach, a prosperity mentor, and a healthy aging advocate. So what does all that mean?
What does all that mean? So I guess it might make sense if I just told you a little bit about how I became to do that. I have had many years in the network marketing business. I'm going to be 80 this year. So healthy aging was really something that I had to be serious about. So back, the summer of 2013, my grandson was 12. And my daughter wasn't feeling good in her own skin. So he still wanted her to do things with him on the beach. And she just didn't feel really good about being there in a bathing suit. And to be honest with you, neither did I. So over the next few months, she decided that she wasn't feeling good in her own skin and she had to do something about it. So she went to a health food store to find a protein shake that would replace the shakes that we had tried from Isagenix a few years before. And make a long story short, she couldn't find them because they're not available in a store. So she came home, and I love this story because it's true. She came home, she went on Facebook, as so many of us do when we're looking for something, and she hit 3 words: who sells Isagenix? So she had several people that reached out to her, but one woman in particular said to her, come over to the house. I want to talk to you and I want to show you what's going on. So I love this because she went over to Samantha's house. This is a woman that we've been in business with for now over 7 years. So she went over with $40 in her back pocket to buy a canister of vanilla shake. So she goes to pay her, and Samantha says to her, well, that's $55. And Lori said, well, why? We only paid $40. And she said, well, if you're not a preferred customer, then you have to pay retail. So long story short, my daughter sat down with Samantha, and 2.5 hours later, she called me and said, Mom, we're going to do Isagenix, and we're going to do it this time. We're just not going to use a shake. And Mary Ann, what that said to me was, Lorraine, you're 72 years old. You've been a widow for a few years now, and you really need to start thinking about your health and what the rest of your life is going to look like. So I didn't have any health issues. I'm not on any medication then. I'm still not on any medication, but I did have some weight to lose. And I wanted to make sure that the rest of my life I was going to live healthy. So I agreed with her, and I started with the weight loss program. And why I feel I can talk about healthy aging is that the last 7 years of my life, I have been really healthy.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it's amazing how good I feel, how much mental clarity I have, how much energy I have. And I'm going to be 80 this year, and I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what that's supposed to feel like, Marianne, and I hope I never do.
Yeah. It's supposed to feel like thriving.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I am thriving every day. I feel younger every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And do you think, like for me, when I started my wellness journey, I also, walked into a health food store after I crashed. And from all the illness and drugs and surgeries and everything that wasn't going right in my young body at 34 back in 93, so I had to reach out initially first for supplements to get some relief in my body. But that also opened the door for mindset transformation because I was creating so much of that sickness in myself because of my thoughts and my emotions. It's metaphysics. It's how our thoughts and emotions affect our body and how we can thrive or we can just survive. So, do you also work a lot with mindset, even to help people to realize they can thrive even more? It's not just a healthy body, but it's a healthy mind.
I have, I do. I'm not a mindset coach, but I do have people like you, and I do have lots of people that I have met, and we help each other, we support each other, collaboration and things like that. So I do have access to some really amazing, I'll use the word women, but I really have some amazing women that I can collaborate with and refer. Because everybody's different. So it's just like when I sit down with somebody to do a health analysis with them and to really show them what their I want them to tell me what their goals are, because it's not a one size fits all, nor is mindset a one size fits all. So if it's something I can't support them with, we have lots of support with our group and with the company and everything. But if it's not something that I can support them with, then I have resources that I can reach out to help them. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. I mean, everybody, like you said, it's not one size fits all. That's why I adore interviewing, coaches and helpers, transformational people. You are still in the transformational field because you're helping people thrive in their body, in their well-being. So I want to share. Not everybody is a client for me. I understand that. And that's why it's so important for me to share your work. Because, my expertise is not what your expertise is. And I understand that. And that's why I love these collaborations. And mentioning collaborations, I forgot to mention at the beginning, Lorraine and I met in Ladies Power Lunch. It's a group on Facebook that has one rule, that we intentionally support each other. So ladies, if you are looking for a very intentional, active group to belong to support you, not only in your daily life, but in your business, this group is for you. So just find Ladies Power Lunch on Facebook, or you can also visit their website, ladiespowerlunch.com, and just ask to join. It is a free group, and it is just so, I have met so many beautiful people like Lorraine in that group who's willing to support you and collaborate with you and create an increase in your impact and your income. So I just wanted to let you all know how Lorraine and I met, because these support groups are so important in our businesses. it's not just that we're good friends, it's that we actually support each other. And I love that. So, what kinds of clients come to you? What are they looking for? What kind of health concerns might they have? Just give us some examples of what you've seen in your clients.
Just go back, if I can. The company started in 2002 with 4 products, and the basis of that startup, the owners had been in retirement. The owners, there's a husband and a wife. She'd already built 3 network marketing businesses to $1 million income levels, but the companies that she was with disappointed her in some way over time. So she and her husband were retired in their late 50s. They had a 14-year-old son, and they were approached by a gentleman by the name of John Anderson, who's known in the industry, in the health industry, for creating products for weight loss. And he was told by some of these big farmers that he had to compromise on his ingredients, and that was not in his integrity, and he was not going to do that. And that's a staple of what this company is. We don't ever compromise on any ingredient. But to make a long story short, he came to them with 4 products. And those 4 products were all about weight loss and intermittent fasting to get rid of the toxins in our body. So 7 years ago, my whole focus was on weight loss. If I saw somebody that needed weight loss or talked to me about weight loss. So that's a very big part of who we help. But people come to me because now, especially with the fact that we're coming out of the house a little bit more and people are going to the gym. So people are coming to me and asking me, what do you have that's going to help me with my exercise routine? Or how am I going to build lean muscle mass? Or, some of those questions. People are asking me now about our collagen product. We have a marine collagen product. So people are coming to me for different things to do with their health. Gut health is a big, important part of what's going on in life. So people are coming to me for all kinds of different reasons. But I'm also finding that with my business being Fabulous Begins at 50, I really love working with women that are 50 and older, because when we get into our 50s. I mean, I look at my daughter, she's 55, she's empty nesting.
Right.
She's, things are changing. At some point, she's going to be a grandmother, and I hope I'm around to be a great grandmother. But, those things are not going to happen right away. So I guess most of the people are coming to me and asking me about those particular areas of their life.
Sure. Yeah, because, again, as we age, and myself at 62, and feeling so good in life, and feeling like I am thriving, there's always things that we can do to help our bodies and feed our bodies and nurture and nourish our bodies.
Right.
Because there are things that happen in our body, those changes that happen as we age, and they need a little more support. And so I love that you're there. I love that you're working with older women, 50 and above. What'd you say your company name? Fabulous?
Fabulous Begins at 50.
Fabulous Begins at 50. Oh my, what a perfect name for your company. I love that.
I have to tell you that name is not mine original, if I could just share a couple of minutes.
Absolutely.
I was working with a LinkedIn coach because this was maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. And I really wanted to be, how do I want to put it? I wanted to be effective on LinkedIn, because in my business, when I'm looking for people that want to build a business with me, and I love Facebook and I love all my friends on Facebook, but LinkedIn is a different way to go about things. So I met this woman and just had a conversation, and I didn't have a banner at the top of my LinkedIn profile, which you really need to have one.
Right.
So we're having this conversation, and she said to me, she says, oh, my husband has a big business. She's on the other end of Connecticut, but he's having trouble finding employees. Well, I had just enrolled a woman who's a headhunter in Connecticut. So I you talk about collaboration and connecting. So I connected with her and the, I forgot her name right now, the headhunter. So she and her husband could connect with this woman.
Mhm.
So now we're having this conversation, and this woman's telling me what she does. She does marketing, and she, she just loves to help people. And I'm telling her about what I do with Isogenics and how I really want to help women my age and younger, but at least over 50. And Marianne, she said to me, you know what? I'm going to create a banner for you for your LinkedIn profile.
Oh my.
I've never met this woman. I still today have never met her. We've had conversations, but that's it. So she made me this beautiful banner that said fabulous begins at 50. It had some other verbiage on it. And at that point, it had my profile picture, which I had her take off because, we're always changing profile pictures. So I didn't want that stagnant. So that's where the name came from. Fabulous begins at 50. And it just spoke to me because we are fabulous women, and we've got to remember that we need to stay fabulous and be healthy. So it just made sense. And that's where the name came from, and that's where it stayed.
I love that. I love those stories always behind because they're always so meaningful. Like, what we name our companies, or like where you got your LinkedIn banner from. All of these just mean so much because it tells our audience who we are and more about us, and how we work, because there's so many times that people resonate with stories. I mean, that's where we touch hearts and where we touch lives, is because we have our story about it. Just like you had your story about how you started with Isogenics and your daughter. Those are all meaningful because for myself, I'm the same way. The companies that I've promoted, because I had a relationship with them, and that makes a difference for people to understand this is not products we're selling. These are
Right.
products that have transformed our lives. And that's what's so important for people to understand. They're not just off the shelf things that you can get. They're specifically designed so that they're not out in these little discount warehouse places, because that's really important, because the integrity of these companies is so important. Because I understand that. I love that Isogenics, that you said Isogenics is very, very particular about, their harvests
Oh,
and the
absolutely.
products that they use. That's in their formulations. That's so good to hear, because so many are not. They're
Well,
just
we
there
have
to
an
make a
amazing,
buck.
I'm sorry.
They're
We have an amazing science department. Our head scientist is a Harvard graduate, and he's been in the business for many, many years. But just to go back to the banners, I have changed the banners, but I've never changed the name of the company.
yes.
And when you talk about collaboration, I belong to another group out of Canada. And it's amazing because once a week, the founder of that group does what she calls Ask Michelle. And we can go in there as a paid member of her group, and we can ask her a question, and she gives us all the answers. So over a few week period, I was trying to come up with a name for my Facebook business page. And we did some brainstorming with the women that were in those that group each week. And then one day she just looked up and she goes, the name of your Facebook page is going to be Living Vibrantly Over 50 with Lorraine. And I went, okay, that makes sense. So when you find my Facebook page, that's the name, Living Vibrantly Over 50 with Lorraine, because she said I have to own the page.
Right.
And it had to describe what I was offering. So It just made so much sense. So back to Ladies Power Lunch, back to the Wild VIP. When we're in these groups, we give and we get.
Yes.
And that those are so important for me to be part of these amazing networking groups online, because I would have been crazy if I didn't have these networking groups and these meetings and the Zooms. You know, this past year, I've always worked at home, but the past year has been more difficult because those amazing grandchildren in the beginning weren't coming over because they were worried about whether Granny was going to get sick. So now things have opened up again. I've had my shots, and that's not open to discussion for what people think or feel, but this was my personal thought. So yeah, being able to, I mean, there's so many stories, Marianne, that you have the ladies that are on that are doing your podcast and that we all share. So I just really happy to be able to share my story.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here to do that. So, you know, you looked at other products before you chose to work with Isogenics? Because, you know, there's times that we either start with a company and that we get results, and then we think, well, it's like maybe too expensive, and we go buy off the shelf, and then we really don't see results, and we notice a difference. So have you kind of done that? Because I've done that over the years. I even used to have a health food store, so I had access to a lot of different kinds of supplements, and I always came back to the first company I started with Nature's Sunshine products. So for me, that integrity of the way they did their business, which sounds just like, you know, Isogenics in that respect, you know, you don't, like when I joined, and over the years, there's been times when I was with Nature's Sunshine, when I first started, like the yucca that year had acid rain, all of the yucca. So guess what? They sent out a message, we're not making yucca this year.
Yep.
Well, guess what? Everybody else did who bottled yucca capsules. So that integrity just impressed me so much. And I know, you know, Lorraine, probably Isogenics is the same way. And then having a health food store, and like I said, getting access to so many other products that are so inferior to others. So have you had stories like that where you've tried some product and you keep coming back to the same company?
I can tell you that little history back to when my daughter was 2. I've I've done network marketing businesses over my lifetime because I firmly believe that network marketing is a profession, and I'm a professional network marketer. So I've over years have tried different companies. I remember back when she was 2, there was a company called Holiday Magic, and it was makeup, and you had to buy in, and you had stuff on your shelf, and you hope somebody would buy it. But over the years, yes, I was with Amway, which great products. Then there was another company called Kivana that started about the year that my husband got sick. The interesting part of that is that they were bought out by a company called Zija. And a year ago, we bought Zija. Isogenics bought Zija. So it gave us a lot more plant-based products because, as you know, more and more people are looking for plant-based products now. But just as a story, I remember in the last 7 years, there's been times when we've had products that we were not able to market because one or more of the ingredients in it, they weren't either able to get the ingredient up to their standards, or it wasn't available. So I remember our Isodelights, which are chocolates, which have an appetite suppressant in them, and they're part of our intermittent fasting day. We couldn't get those for a while because the quality of the ingredient wasn't available. So, I mean, there's been over these 7 years, there's been a couple of times where that's happened. So yes, they're not ever going to substitute an inferior ingredient, which goes back to John Anderson back in 2002 when he approached the Cougars, because people were asking him to do something that he wouldn't do, and that would lessen the quality of the product.
Right.
So yes, I've often had people say to me, "You're 7 years with the same company? Wow, that's amazing." In that industry, people don't stay that long. But when I've planted my feet and I've got products and I've got compensation that is unequaled in the industry, and I've got people behind me and it's a debt-free business, where would I go? Where would I go? I mean, I know how these products work. So to answer your question, yes, I've tried other companies. Am I going anywhere? No.
Yes,
And I feel confident being able to say to you or anybody that wants to talk to me or wants to refer me, I'm not a high pressure salesperson. I present the facts. I show you what I can do for you, but I can only do so much for you too. You have to do the work. And I walk alongside of you, and so does the company, and so does our team. So
yeah, I love. So what kind of support would somebody expect to work with you?
So from a team aspect, first of all, you're going to have me, and I'm going to walk that journey with you.
Mhm,
We have closed Facebook groups for our team.
mhm.
One of them is really like a healthy living Facebook page where you can get recipes, see products, see other people's results, and get support. And it's closed. And that's really important to a lot of people too, because they may not want their friends to know what they're doing until they have results, and then they want to share it. But that's irrelevant. And then we have another closed Facebook group for people that choose to help us get the word out and to make some additional income, maybe just get their products paid for or share with a couple of friends.
Mhm.
That's our team. And then we have like starting, what's today? It's today Monday?
Yes.
So starting today, we started a 2-week support program for people that want to slim down for the spring. And we're going to, it's going to have prizes and support, all kinds of support. But when you go to the company side, the Isogenics itself has, if somebody decided they wanted to say, work with me and be part of my team, there's a whole training program right online.
Mhm.
And then there's Facebook groups that Isogenics has. And our team, one of the things I really love about Isogenics is we're one team. So it doesn't matter whether you're financially connected to me or not. I met a woman through my LinkedIn coaching group that she's on a totally different team. And we meet every Friday at 4 o'clock on Zoom. And we talk about what she's doing to build, what I'm doing to build. She's helping me with Penny, which is our CRM program. She just invited me to a program that her team is doing. So, we collaborate with outside, but we help each other within our group. And it doesn't matter whether, like I said, whether we're financially connected or not. And that to me speaks volumes.
Yes, I agree. It's not, again, for me, collaboration is not about competition. It's about complement. It's complementary. It's complementary to each other because you're reaching a wider audience. It's just that the message is getting out.
Right.
Like I said, not every client is for me, not every client is for Lorraine, but we're going to know who to contact to help you find a referral. So I love that. I love that your team is willing to share with one another and not make it some kind of a competition, but that it's collaborative.
It
So
it
always
really is.
support.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it really is. It's interesting. Because we're in these groups, we're going to meet people in the same industry. So I have had Zoom calls with women in other network marketing companies, but a lot of times I find out that they may have a product that I don't have that I need, or vice versa. So you never know who you're going to talk to, or it's just like in real estate. People say to me, well, you've got several people that that do real estate. How do you know to refer? Well, for me, I look at their personalities and
Mhm.
where they live. So it's the same thing with if somebody talks to me, and I've come across this in different Zoom calls where somebody would say to me, "Oh yeah, I used to use Isogenics, but man, that she never kept up with me. She never called me. All of that." So she has a choice now. She can talk to me, or maybe my personality isn't going to work with her, just like with that person I might refer to real estate, but maybe somebody else on my team might relate better to that person. So it's not a matter of ego. And I have to tell you, back 7 years ago, when I started with this company, it was about ego, and it was about only wanting to help that person that needed to lose weight. Well, I've matured so much because all of the products that I've used, I know there's something out there for everybody. And I just want everybody to be healthy. And it doesn't matter who you, if you go with, one of the things I love about our integrity is if I'm on a Zoom call with somebody, this is a funny story, I have to share it. And they tell me that they already do isogenics. Well, that's great. Or, yeah, my friend talked to me. Well, I always say to them, go back to your friend and get started with them. And this is, I love this story because I was talking to a woman maybe a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, and we're having our conversation. She's telling me all about what she does, and now it's my turn. And she looks at me, she goes, oh, I used isogenics. She said, I love isogenics. She went on to tell me about their wedding and how they lost weight and all that stuff. And personally, I'm thinking to myself, oh, she's not going to be my customer. She's already somebody else's customer, right? So we hung up the call, and a little while later, I said, you know, she could be a great testimony for me. Someone that could really share how these products have worked for her. So I messaged her and she said, I'd love to. So we did a live, and it became a testimonial live. And I don't usually do a lot of product lives. So I asked her a question and she answered it. And it's amazing because it's on my Facebook business page for people to listen to and to see. So you never know from a conversation what's going to come out of it. So I love every time I talk to somebody and I find something new.
Yes, that's always so fun.
Yeah.
And you know, you were talking about mm, you kind of have to feel into the person. It's just sort of like, it just reminded me when you talked about your daughter went on Facebook and just said, who sells isogenics? And she came up with so many people, but it was one person she zoned in on, you know. So, you know, to have the opportunity to just share, and like you said, you know, if you're a match, you're going to be there. That's
Right.
why it's not a competition. That's why it's just a collaboration, because that person who's coming to you wants to collaborate with you. They want you to be there to help them discover more about healthy aging or thriving, you know, well-being in their body. So I just love that.
You know, I said this to somebody the other day. Yes, my niche is women over 50. But when that woman is feeling good and having great results and she has children, now her children benefit because they use the products.
Yeah.
Somebody who's in their 50s, 60s, and they're like my daughter, and they've got a mom that they're going to be concerned about. Then now the mom or the father gets involved. So I initially thought, well, I'm isolating myself to just having that niche, but that's not the case. I can help. The whole family becomes involved, and it's just amazing what can come out of that.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that story. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Welcome.
You have some assessment tool or something that you help people go through. Can you explain a little bit about how if someone comes to you and says, Lorraine, I need help, what do you do?
The first thing I do is we schedule a call. We schedule a time to sit down, and really I have a series of questions that I ask. First of all, I need to know what are your goals? And a lot of times people don't have them written down. So I help them with that. I help them with making sure that they get the right products to help them achieve those goals. Because even though we have, like, let's just, for example, weight loss, there are several ways that you can get started with us because we have different packs. And they're put together scientifically to work together. So I never shop anybody's wallet, because that's just something I tell everybody. If you've got a budget and this is what you can start with, and this is what we start with. But to really understand, do they walk? Do they exercise? Do they have children? How do they sleep? Have they ever done a intermittent fast? There's a whole series of questions that we go through. So I really get to know who they are and what they're really looking to do.
Right.
That's not a one size fits all.
No.
And even if you take, we have a protocol. Okay. So you're going to, if you're in the weight loss system, you're going to replace 2 meals a day with a protein shake, whether it be a whey shake or a plant-based shake. You're going to have a couple snacks throughout the day. You're going to drink a lot of water. You're going to have a meal. I always tell people it can be dinner or lunch, depending on what you want it to be, but we don't tell you, it's not deprivation. I'm not telling you can't have that glass of wine or that cup of coffee. So even though the protocol is set, we do a 1 day a week where we actually don't eat, but we put these amazing nutritional products into our body to get rid of those toxins. It's all part of intermittent fasting. Mm-hmm. So again, it's just, what is it that what are your goals? What do you want to succeed at? And, I get a lot of questions like, well, what if it doesn't work? Mm-hmm. Well, you have 2 choices. You can do what we say we're going to do for you, or you can get your money back. You have a 30-day money back guarantee. So it's a win-win situation.
Right. And I would think too, even though they may not, you help them find their goals if they don't already have them set. But you probably also help them understand that, it's baby steps, because there's so many times, you look to make some changes in your life and you almost step too far at the first. Right. And then you feel like you're a failure or something because you're not seeing, or it just gets overwhelming. I would think that you probably kind of help walk them through how to take the baby steps. So it's not like all of a sudden, jerk, I've got to clean out my entire pantry.
No, you don't. It's what I found for me in the beginning was it was a routine that had to be adjusted, if you will, because you're changing your lifestyle. I mean, anytime, and I hear this all the time, well, I don't want to go on a diet. Well, neither did I. Mm-hmm. But I know that I needed to lose the weight, and how was I going to do that? So it's just an adjustment. It's just an adjustment. And some people, can't adjust, but we're there to support you. We're there to hold your hand if you need the hand holding. So the protocol is suggested, and we, help you, walk you through that. And if you've got an issue and I can't solve it, I've got other people on my team you can talk to.
Right. And I would think too, with, like you said, one size does not fit all, too, about what maybe some of their restrictions would be that you'd kind of have to work around, whether they have a physical restriction or a drug restriction or a whatever, I would think that you would have to kind of help them understand, how to work with that.
Well, first of all, in our I'm not allowed to ever say we can heal or
absolutely, yeah.
There's compliance issues all over the place. But one of the things that we strongly recommend, in fact, I had a conversation with a woman today who said to me, I have a lot of health issues. There are a lot of things that I can't have. So I sent her my website and I said, when you look at each specific product, you can, and I always say that you can scroll down on the page, you're going to see the nutrition and you're going to see the ingredients. Yes. Everything is very transparent. So we always suggest, especially with pregnant women, nursing mommies, there are certain things that we tell them they can't have. So if you're diabetic, there's a way to get your shakes so that your blood sugar doesn't go all over the place. So yeah, that's why that analysis is so important,
Mm.
because like one of my best friends is diabetic. So when she does her shake, she'll do like a half a shake, and then a little while later, she'll do another half a shake. So you have to adjust these things to fit your personal needs. I mean, I had one woman that was allergic to one of the ingredients in our products, and that ingredient is in a lot of our products. And she was heartbroken that she could not use them because she wanted, this particular was a weight loss situation.
Mhm.
So we never know. And like I said, because there's that money back guarantee, you never have to worry about it. Or if it's something that you just can't have and I use it, then we take care of it. So
Right.
I don't know if that answers your question or
Yes.
not.
Yeah. And well, even just helping educate your people, because to me, this assessment would really help you understand what they're dealing with, because they might not even think, oh, that's right, I can't have this. Which product maybe could I substitute it for?
Right,
And,
exactly.
and rather than just going to your website, which your website will be in the show notes. So anybody can go to that website at any time and look for Lorraine and the isogenic products. Um, Contacting her to go through this assessment is so important, because there are things that you need to be aware of, that may be pose a problem for you, just like she said, pregnant women, nursing mothers. When you look at any kind of a reputable supplement company, they're going to have those disclaimers, those warning labels on there, and if they're not, run away.
It's funny because I watch very few commercials because I tape everything and then I just run through the commercials. But when those commercials come on and they've got this dialogue that's about 3 minutes after their commercial of 30 seconds of what could happen, I
Yes.
don't have that dialogue. I don't have, and
Yep.
it's just amazing what how healthy everything is, and
Yes.
yeah, it's just yeah,
Yes, especially anything, plant-based. It's a whole food product. I loved it when I was taking my herbal training after my crash, and I decided to get into that industry. They were talking about, think of your capsule of this, red raspberry or whatever I was taking at the time, as a teaspoon of good food.
mm,
you know, to kind of get me over, because I was like, I've been on so many drugs, I don't want to take another capsule. And it was like, oh, well, then I could shift my mind to think, okay, here's a bite of, red raspberry, or here's a bite of whatever herb it happened to be that I was taking. So I like that. It's just feeding your body.
well, this is all food, and people. I'm not plant-based. I do whey as far as my shakes and stuff are concerned, but I love our plant-based shakes. And
Mhm.
people have said to me, oh, plant-based shakes, they're chalky, they don't have any flavor, they're not, whatever. Sometimes I can't tell the difference. And I don't use the canisters on my counter anymore. I put them in these little containers that I got at the dollar store, and I mark them all, but they're all sitting on top of my counter. And it depends on what flavor I want today, or what
Exactly.
two flavors I want to mix. Or, I mean, we just have so many. I don't want to go into a product demonstration here, but we have so many ways that people can get products into their body. I mean, we have organic greens that come in a canister. I put a scoop in my shake this morning. One scoop is 2 servings,
Right.
recommended servings. So it's just not all about weight loss. There's just so many, many other things. And our new marine collagen product that just came out, there's nothing like it on the market. I have someone that I saw her post this morning, and she loves her collagen product, but it comes in a container, and every time she opens that container to take a scoop out, she's letting oxidation and stuff into that product. And I don't know if it's a plastic bottle or what it is, but where we differ is each individual, what do you want to call it? Each dose is in a amber bottle that you open. each time and you drink it down and you're done. So there's so many differences in products out there. And yes, there's a lot of the same type of product. But
Yeah.
when I have a shake, I know it's a full meal replacement. I know I'm getting the calories I need, the protein I need.
Mhm.
So I just know, just for me, and I'm not saying I never compare other companies' products. All I can say, if somebody says, well, how does it compare to such and such? I say, the only thing I can tell you is look at the ingredients in both and you make your decision.
Yeah.
I'm not putting any other company down because they've got lots of products are out there and they're good. I mean, they're successful, but I just know what I have and what I use.
Absolutely. Well, and again, you know what works for you, and you know you have testimonials that it works for other people. This is
Right.
not just a one-off. Oh, Lorraine's the only one this company has.
You know, and I don't know if I said this, but you know, I'm going to be 80 this year. So when people ask me, do these work for older women? The only thing I can say is they work for me. And
Try
I
it.
don't know what that's supposed to feel like.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I so appreciate you. I will put all of Lorraine's contact information in the show notes for you. And thank you again, Lorraine,
Oh,
for
you're welcome.
being my guest and getting to share you with my audience. So
Oh, thank you so much.
do you have any last words of wisdom that you would like to share before we close?
Well, that's a really good question because the only thing I can share with you is that if you don't try it, you'll never know. It's just like when somebody says, oh, this didn't work for me. And I have to say, what did you do? How long did you do it? And if you quit, then it obviously doesn't work for you. So just give it a shot and let's see how it goes. Like I said, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Absolutely. So thank you, Lorraine. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
being our guest.
Thank you so much.
Mhm. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for this episode of Dynamic Thriving Podcast. I am so happy that you have joined us. And be sure and visit our website, maryannpack.com, for all of our services and offerings. And also, if you feel so inclined, there is a donate page, a shop donate page on there. And if you would like to make a donation, you will help support this podcast. Spreading more joy around the world, because that's who we are and that's what we want to do as we reach out. And remember, you are joy, looking for a way to express.